Welcome everyone to Session 3 of our Nature-Based Solutions series. We delve into a crucial topic, the integration of NbS for disaster risk reduction and climate change. We're excited to explore how these powerful solutions can build resilience and adapt to our changing world. Let's have a productive session. This is where NbS can come in. NbS usually involves the implementation of green infrastructure, and they exist on a spectrum. There are almost entirely natural ecosystems, such as forests and wetlands at one end. At the other end, there are highly engineered features, like porous pavements. In between, there are various forms of green infrastructure, like bioswales and green roofs. This spectrum reflects each solution's varying degrees of natural and engineered elements. NbS emphasizes integrating natural elements into urban design for environmental benefits, such as stormwater management and enhancement of urban biodiversity. And these approaches are increasingly seen as cost-effective and sustainable options, offering co-benefits like improving human health, enhancing biodiversity, and supporting sustainable livelihoods. They are crucial for achieving global targets in biodiversity conservation, climate change mitigation and adaptation, and sustainable development. As one of the important approaches of NbS, let's look at the green infrastructure, GI, in more detail. The concept of green infrastructure refers to a range of measures that include plant or soil systems, permeable surfaces, stormwater harvest, and landscaping. These are designed to store, infiltrate, or evapotranspirate stormwater, reducing flows to sewer systems or surface waters. Green infrastructure differs from traditional gray infrastructure by focusing on natural processes for stormwater management, offering environmental, social, and economic benefits. The spectrum of GI can range from natural ecosystems like forests and wetlands to engineered solutions like porous pavements with features like bioswales and green roofs in between. This eco-techno spectrum helps to conceptualize the variety of GI features in urban settings and is crucial for evaluating their effectiveness in providing infrastructural services. Within the green infrastructure spectrum, there are different approaches. NbS is an umbrella concept of ecosystem-based approaches to address societal challenges, and these approaches include 1. Low-impact development, relevant for urban planning, 2. Restorative approaches in integrated coastal zone management, 3. Sustainable land management approaches, 4. Integrated water resource management, 5. Integrated fire management. This session will focus on low-impact development, integrated coastal zone management, and sustainable land management. Most importantly, when we implement NbS, we have to keep in mind the 8 principles as advocated by IUCN. 1. NbS embraces nature conservation norms and principles. However, they note that while NbS embraces nature conservation, not all conservation actions necessarily qualify as NbS. 2. NbS can be implemented alone or in an integrated manner with other solutions to societal challenges, e.g. technological and engineering solutions. 3. NbS is determined by site-specific natural and cultural contexts that include traditional, local, and scientific knowledge. 4. NbS produces societal benefits in a fair and equitable way, in a manner that promotes transparency and broad participation. 5. NbS maintain biological and cultural diversity and the ability of ecosystems to evolve over time. 6. NbS are applied at a landscape scale, taken to mean large spatial areas, such as watersheds or large forests, which usually combine several ecosystems, agricultural, inland waters, coastal, forest, etc., and which might, in some cases, be transboundary. 7. NbS recognizes and addresses the trade-offs between the production of a few immediate economic benefits for development and future options for the production of the full range of ecosystem services. 8. NbS are an integral part of the overall design of policies, measures, or actions to address a specific challenge. The primary goal is to understand how some of these solutions enhance the adaptive capacities of the system. Nature-based solutions, NbS, are particularly well-suited for disaster and climate resilience for a number of compelling reasons. Buffering extremes. NbS often involves the restoration or conservation of ecosystems such as wetlands, forests, and mangroves, which can absorb excess rainfall, reduce the speed and impact of floodwaters, diminish wave energy, and provide protection against storm surges and coastal erosion. Climate regulation. Natural ecosystems play a key role in regulating the climate. Forests, for instance, sequester carbon dioxide, helping mitigate climate change while influencing local climate conditions through evapotranspiration and providing shade. Enhanced biodiversity. Biodiverse ecosystems are typically more resilient to disturbances and changes, including climate change-induced ones. The variety of species and genetic diversity within these systems can quickly adapt to new conditions, providing stability and support to various ecosystem functions. Sustainable water management, NbS, such as the protection and restoration of watersheds, ensures sustainable water supplies by filtering and replenishing groundwater, regulating river flows, and improving water quality. Cost effectiveness. Often, NbS are more cost-effective than hard infrastructure solutions. They usually require lower maintenance costs and can be more durable if managed sustainably. Cohesive community actions. Implementing NbS can engage and unite communities, as these solutions often involve local participation and governance. This can enhance social cohesion and ensure local knowledge and needs are incorporated into resilience planning. Multiple benefits. NbS provides multiple co-benefits, including enhancing livelihoods, improving health by providing cleaner air and water, and offering recreational opportunities that contribute to overall societal well-being. Flexibility and adaptability. NbS can be more flexible and adaptable to changing conditions than traditional infrastructure. They can evolve over time and may be adjusted as circumstances change, which is crucial in the context of a changing climate. Scalability. These solutions can often be scaled from local to broader landscapes, allowing for an integrated approach to resilience that can be tailored to different levels of need and intervention. By harnessing the inherent properties of ecosystems, NbS provides a dynamic, living approach to building resilience, capable of responding to and recovering from the impacts of natural disasters and climate change. These can be done through eco-DRR, management of ecosystems and ecosystem services to reduce the disaster risk, such as flooding, storms, etc. For human communities. Use biodiversity and ecosystem services as part of an overall adaptation strategy to help people adapt to the adverse effects of climate change. NbS is an umbrella term. You might have heard other technical terms, such as ecological restoration, ecological engineering, forest landscape restoration, ecosystem-based adaptation, ecosystem-based mitigation, climate adaptation services, ecosystem-based DRR, natural infrastructure, green infrastructure, ecosystem-based management, area-based conservation are part of NbS. Here are some more details of the various approaches under NbS. Ecosystem approach is the primary framework for NbS implementation. The ecosystem approach is a strategy for the integrated management of land, water, and living resources that promotes conservation and sustainable use in an equitable way. It is grounded in the principle that humans with their cultural diversity are an integral component of many ecosystems. This approach is recognized and widely adopted in environmental and conservation strategies, including those under the Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD. Forest landscape restoration, FLR, is a process that aims to regain ecological integrity and enhance human well-being in deforested or degraded forest landscapes. It's not just about planting trees or natural forest regeneration. FLR involves a holistic approach that integrates forestry, agriculture, conservation, and other land uses to restore the functionality and productivity of landscapes. Ecosystem-based adaptation, EBAE, is a strategy for adapting to the adverse effects of climate change by harnessing the natural capacity of ecosystems. It involves the use and conservation of biodiversity and ecosystem services as part of an overall adaptation strategy to help people to adapt to the adverse effects of climate change. Ecological restoration is the process of assisting the recovery and management of an ecosystem that has been degraded, damaged, or destroyed. This scientific discipline and practice aims to restore the structure, function, and diversity of disturbed or impaired ecosystems to a condition as similar as possible to that which existed before the disturbance. Protected areas are used to conserve nature and to provide a range ecosystem services that do not conflict with nature conservation. Examples of protected areas are Yellowstone National Park in the U.S., the first national park in the world, the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, and the Sundarbans National Park in India, that is well known for its mangrove forests and a large population of Bengal tigers. Ecological engineering, also known as environmental engineering, is an interdisciplinary field that focuses on the design, monitoring, and construction of ecosystems. The primary goal of ecological engineering is to develop sustainable solutions that integrate human society with its natural environment for the benefit of both. It involves the application of engineering principles to the management and restoration of ecological systems. Through this diagram, we can have a better understanding of the interlinkages among the different approach under the nature-based solutions umbrella. NbS are increasingly acknowledged as vital and efficient methods for achieving sustainable development. These approaches involve the protection, maintenance, and revitalization of natural or altered ecosystems to tackle societal issues while concurrently delivering benefits for both human well-being and biodiversity. NbS are instrumental in preserving biodiversity through the upkeep and restoration of natural habitats, a critical factor for maintaining ecological equilibrium and the survival of diverse species. In addressing climate change, NbS are pivotal. They aid in carbon sequestration, such as through reforestation efforts, and serve as natural defenses against climate-related impacts, exemplified by mangroves shielding coastlines from storm surges. NbS are key in sustaining crucial ecosystem services, including the provision of clean water, air purification, pollination, and soil fertility, all foundational for human survival and health. Integrating natural components into both urban and rural settings, NbS fosters sustainable economic growth through avenues like ecotourism, responsible forestry, and agriculture. Natural settings contribute significantly to physical and mental health. Urban green spaces, for instance, offer recreational and relaxation areas, enhancing overall well-being. NbS bolster community resilience against environmental hazards and disasters. For example, preserving natural floodplains and forested watersheds can mitigate flooding risks and impacts. Long-term, NbS prove to be more economical compared to conventional engineering methods, especially when the extensive range of their benefits is considered. Local communities often find themselves involved in and benefiting from NbS. These solutions support livelihoods, such as through sustainable resource usage, and empower communities to oversee their natural resources. In urban areas, NbS play a crucial role in fostering sustainable, livable cities. This is achieved through initiatives like green roofing, urban forestry, and the construction of wetlands for wastewater treatment. NbS are effective in the sustainable management of water resources, seen in actions like wetland restoration, which aids in water filtration and flood control. Promoting sustainable agricultural practices, essential for food security, is another facet of NbS. Agroforestry is a prime example, combining trees with agricultural crops to boost biodiversity and soil health. To sum up, NbS are not just beneficial but indispensable for sustainable development. They present a comprehensive approach that harmonizes environmental, economic, and social considerations, contributing significantly towards meeting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. However, it's crucial to apply these solutions thoughtfully, ensuring they are strategically planned and managed to circumvent any unintended adverse effects. Ecosystem adaptation and eco-disaster risk reduction, eco-DRR, are gaining recognition as superior methods for addressing environmental and societal challenges, especially in the realms of climate change and disaster management. These methods are often more financially viable over the long term than conventional engineering approaches. For instance, natural formations like wetlands and mangroves serve as cost-effective alternatives for flood defense and coastal protection, with the added advantage of natural self-repair and regeneration. These ecosystem-centered strategies offer multiple simultaneous benefits. Restoring a forest, for example, not only aids in carbon capture, but also bolsters biodiversity, solidifies soil, and purifies water. Eco-DRR tactics, such as mangrove restoration, simultaneously safeguard coastlines, create fish habitats, enhance water quality, and bolster local fisheries and community livelihoods. Both ecosystem adaptation and eco-DRR significantly increase the resilience of natural ecosystems and human communities against the impacts of climate change. Robust ecosystems have a greater capacity to endure and recover from extreme weather events, thereby continuously safeguarding and serving communities. Rooted in sustainable resource use and management, these approaches ensure the ongoing availability of ecosystem services for present and future generations. Incorporating local communities in the development and execution of these strategies leads to more enduring and culturally attuned solutions. This involvement fosters environmental stewardship and equips communities with the skills to manage their resources effectively. Focusing on the health and integrity of ecosystems, these methods are pivotal in conserving biodiversity. Habitat protection and restoration play a key role in preserving species and genetic diversity, essential for the proper functioning of ecosystems. Adaptable to shifting environmental conditions and receptive to new information, these ecosystem-based strategies are especially apt for navigating the uncertainties of climate change. Moreover, thriving ecosystems are instrumental in enhancing human health and well-being. Urban green spaces, for instance, can better air quality and offer recreational zones, thereby improving mental and physical health. Incorporating traditional ecological knowledge, these approaches provide profound insights into sustainable resource management and natural disaster mitigation, drawing on long-standing observations and experiences. Applicable across a spectrum of scales, from local community projects to national and global policies, ecosystem-based methods are versatile and relevant in various contexts. Ecosystem adaptation and eco-DRR are comprehensive, sustainable, and practical approaches for environmental management and disaster risk reduction. They utilize the advantages of healthy ecosystems to tackle current challenges while fostering biodiversity, sustainability, and community resilience. We can learn how nature-based solutions contribute to disaster risk reduction. Now we will look in the following 4 aspects. 1. Mitigating natural hazard. Coastal protection. Restoration of mangroves and coastal wetlands acts as a natural barrier against storm surges and erosion, reducing the impact of cyclones and tsunamis. Flood management. Urban green spaces, such as floodable parks and green roofs, absorb excess rainwater, decreasing the severity of urban flooding. Landslide prevention. Reforestation and sustainable land management stabilize slopes, reducing the risk of landslides in hilly terrains. 2. Enhancing climate resilience. Adaptive ecosystems. Healthy ecosystems adapt over time, providing ongoing protection against evolving climate threats. For instance, wetlands can adjust to changing water levels, maintaining their flood mitigation functions. Ecosystem-based adaptation, E. Integrating EBA into DRR strategies ensures that biodiversity and ecosystem services are central to adaptation efforts, offering sustainable and flexible responses to climate variability. 3. Providing socioeconomic co-benefits. Livelihood support. NbS like agroforestry and sustainable fisheries not only reduce disaster risks, but also support local economies and food security. Health and well-being. Access to green spaces improves mental health and provides recreational opportunities, contributing to overall community resilience. 4. Cost-effectiveness and sustainability. Economic efficiency. NbS are often more cost-effective than traditional gray infrastructure. When co-benefits are considered, they can be on average 42% cheaper and create 36% more value than fully gray infrastructure solutions. Long-term benefits. Unlike some engineered solutions that may degrade over time, well-maintained ecosystems can provide enduring protection and adapt to changing conditions. Strategies for integrating NbS into DRR policy integration. Incorporate NbS into national and local DRR policies, ensuring alignment with climate adaptation and sustainable development goals. Stakeholder engagement. Engage communities in the planning and implementation of NbS to ensure solutions are context-specific and socially inclusive. Capacity building. Invest in training and education to build technical expertise in designing, implementing, and maintaining NbS. Monitoring and evaluation. Develop indicators and monitoring systems to assess the effectiveness of NbS in reducing disaster risks and delivering co-benefits. Implementation strategies policy. Integration and strategic alignment. incorporate NbS into national and local policies, ensuring alignment with climate adaptation, disaster risk reduction, and sustainable development goals. Stakeholder engagement and co-creation. Engage communities, especially marginalized groups, in the planning and implementation of NbS to ensure solutions are context-specific and equitable. Technical design and implementation. Design NbS tailored to local environmental and socio-economic conditions, utilizing tools like the IUCN Global Standard for Nature-Based Solutions to guide best practices. Financing and resource mobilization. Secure funding through public-private partnerships, grants, and innovative financing mechanisms to support the implementation and maintenance of NbS. Monitoring, evaluation, and adaptive management. Develop indicators to assess the effectiveness of NbS in delivering desired outcomes, allowing for adaptive management and continuous improvement. Economic opportunities cost-effectiveness compared to gray infrastructure. NbS often provide more cost-effective solutions than traditional engineered infrastructure. For instance, in terms of disaster risk reduction, DRR, NbS, such as wetlands and mangroves, can reduce disaster risk more cost-effectively than conventional engineering solutions. Nature-Based Solutions Initiative. One good example is that of climate resilience in Indonesia, where a national-level cost-benefit analysis revealed the economic viability of mangrove conservation and restoration, leading to a $400 million investment that offers coastal protection and supports local livelihoods. GFDRR. Job creation and economic growth. Implementing NbS can stimulate economic activity and employment, such as involvement in restoration projects. Restoration of ecosystems like peatlands and salt marshes not only provides environmental benefits, but also creates jobs. For instance, salt marsh restoration is expected to generate 1.31 of economic and social benefits for every £1 invested and create 14 to 74 temporary jobs per 100 hectares restored. Nature-Based Solutions Initiative. Similarly, investments in urban NbS, such as green roofs and parks, contribute to job creation in the construction, maintenance, and tourism sectors. Enhanced Ecosystem Services. NbS improves the provision of ecosystem services that have direct and indirect economic value. For example, in Italy, constructed wetlands have demonstrated high benefit-cost ratios, up to 10, indicating significant returns in terms of water purification and biodiversity enhancement. Garcia Herrero et al., 2023. Support for sustainable development. NbS align with sustainable development goals by promoting inclusive economic growth and environmental stewardship. For instance, in terms of community livelihoods, NbS support livelihoods through sustainable agriculture, fisheries, and ecotourism, thereby enhancing food security and income. Similarly, in terms of urban resilience, cities implementing NbS, like floodable parks and green roofs, not only reduce flood risks but also provide recreational spaces, improving quality of life and property values. Time 2024. It is important to remember the following. NbS enhances our array of ecological strategies. Even deserts, as ecosystems, play a role in this diversity. Economic activities need not cease entirely, but rather progressively shift towards sustainability. As innovation drives new solutions, many will emerge from a hybrid zone combining nature and technology. At the moment, low-impact development represents readily achievable options. These solutions are tailored to specific hazards and locales, contributing to a sustainable transition. NbS are dynamic, constantly evolving to be specific to particular hazards and locales within the broad and active realm of sustainable practices. In the urban context, green infrastructure is a strategic approach to developing interconnected and multifunctional networks of blue and green spaces that provide a wide range of environmental, social, and economic benefits and simultaneously enhance the climate resilience of cities. Urban green infrastructure includes different types of blue-green spaces, such as forests, wetlands, agricultural land, public parks, private gardens, single green elements, street trees, green roofs, etc., or ponds and streams. These play a crucial role in enhancing climate adaptation and mitigation capacities and reducing the negative impacts of climate change hazards such as heat waves, flooding, and drought in cities. In a city setting, NbS specifically refers to different typologies of green infrastructure that use nature's own local resources, vegetation, water, and soil in a smart and efficient way to tackle different environmental, societal, and climate challenges instead of implementing conventional gray infrastructure or technology-based solutions. The spatial scale of NbS in cities can vary from large forested areas to small-scale stormwater systems. In addition, the role of human control or technological solutions in NbS can also vary greatly from self-regulated natural ecosystems, such as flood control provided by urban wetlands, which require no or limited human interventions, to hybrid gray-green solutions, such as systems for the management of stormwater and urban runoff, where technology and human intervention play a significant role. Now we have reached the end of Part 1 of Session 3. Please feel free to go back to any part of the session to get a better understanding. When you are ready, please proceed to Part 2 of Session 3.